Welcome to Poems You Need, where two poets who believe in the transformative power of language share the poems they need in hopes of helping you find the poems you need too. Hi, I'm Melissa Studdard.
And I'm Kelli Russell Agodon.
And today we're sharing poems by Patricia Spears Jones. And I'm starting with a poem called May Perpetual Light Shine, which is at the poets.org website, the Academy of American Poets. And it's a beautiful poem about the loss of her mother. And it considers grief, both from the perspective of the person who is grieving, the person who has lost someone, but it also looks at the other side of the person who was lost, in this case, obviously her mother. And she kind of asks herself the question, maybe my mother is happier now. I'm surprised by this poem every time I read it, and how it starts in sadness, darkness, the difficulty that we as humans bear, and then it moves into this bright, sort of luminescence by the end of the poem, which is really lovely. So I'm going to read it now. May perpetual light shine. We have encountered storms, perfect in their drench and wreck. Each of us bears an ornament of grief, a ring, a notebook, ticket torn, scar. It is how humans know their kind. What is known as love, what can become the heart's food, stored away for some future famine. Love remains a jewel in the hand, guarded, shared fragments of earth and air, drift and despair. We ponder what patterns matter other than moons and tides, musical beats, rumba or waltz or cha-cha-cha, cosmic waves like batons furiously twirling, colors proclaiming sparkle of darkness as those we love begin to delight in the stars embracing.
Wow. This is such a healing poem. The way it takes something that's so difficult, to lose a mother or a loved one, and to have an optimism and take on it as maybe they're better, maybe they're doing okay. I love that as someone who did lose their father at a very young age, and he had health problems, but to that same feeling of, but he's out of pain now and maybe he's doing better somewhere else. And even the title, May Perpetual Light Shine, which comes from a Catholic prayer for the dead, is this like glimmer and hope and positive, that idea that their light can still shine in your life and on you.
That's really beautiful, Kelli. I love the way you said that. And yeah, it's just a shimmery, gorgeous poem.
Yeah, and the line, each of us bears an ornament of grief, a ring, a notebook, a ticket torn, was just this place where we have memories of each other and just our humanness of what we leave behind and what we carry with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love the way she creates these sort of oxymoronic moments, like the idea of grief being an ornament, and then later we have the sparkle of darkness. It's just they're very. It's like going into the detail of a painting and seeing these little spots where, just in these tiny moments, it encapsulates what the whole poem does.
Exactly. And what a gift to write a poem that now we can give to people in our life who have lost someone, because there is so much joy. And, I'm going to be reading a poem next about dance, and she has rumba or waltz or cha-cha-cha. I couldn't imagine getting that into a poem about grief. And the fact that she did creates this really lovely energy. And I know the poems that I will be mailing my friends, unfortunately, when people pass, because this is a poem that can really help people move through the grief the best they can.
Well, for me, it really exemplifies what we mean by poems you need.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, thank you for sharing that. I am now going to read a poem that's very different because it deals with desire, and I love me a good desire poem. But this one was also from the Academy of American Poets, which is such a great website, and their poem of the day. And the one thing their poem of the day does is it allows the poet to speak about the poem. And for me, that's always my favorite part of the poems of the day, is to see what someone was thinking. And I love what Patricia writes. She starts out with, I am not a fan of tattoos, but the black feather on the Brazilian dancer was a mark that could not be unseen. And this poem brings up the memory of another lover and desire, and seeing an image that then creates a poem. Like, how magical is that? Like, that's why poets are so wonderful. They're out in the world watching a dancer, and then it sparks this poem. So here we go. Dancer. The man with the black feather tattoo pairs the space between fantasy and the memory of a man's carved torso, designed for stroking and celebration. Today, the sun's brightness is like that lover's kiss, wonderful in the present and greater in memory. A memory that brings me back to that black feathers flutter. Stars dazzle in some other part of the world where the sun has set and the moon illuminates swans diving into voluminous waters.
Wow. That's so sexy. I love that she really doesn't shy away from that either. She holds it through the poem. It shows how much you can do with so few lines, because it just accomplishes so much. And what is it, like, 8
It's
or
a
9?
9-line poem.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. And I love it that with these two poems, we've gone from this contemplation of the afterlife and this spiritual depth to, like, all right, now we're going to look at the earthly realm. Yeah.
She does do that so well, but both of them sparkle and dazzle and, have that optimism and I always think about, like, what's a poet's signature style or a touchstone or that. And I felt like with these two poems, it's that light she brings to what she's writing about.
And she really leaves you with that light too. I mean, both of the poems end with this, dazzling, bright, beautiful image, whether it's the swans on water or, the stars embracing. We're left with these images to hold. They're, like she mentioned, ornaments of grief earlier. These are our ornaments of light and brightness.
Yeah. Yeah, and just the beauty of her language. There's 3 words: flutter, stars, dazzle. But when I'm speaking them, it was just like a joy to enunciate those words.
Mhm. And I like also black feathers flutter. When I heard you reading the feathers flutter, it just sounded delicious.
Yeah, and it was the music and the rhythm of the dance. You could feel it in her poem. Like, what a gift.
Yes, what a gift.
Thank you for celebrating poetry with us today. Information about the poet and works featured can be found on the episode page. And if you enjoyed today's reading, please press the like button and subscribe so not to miss another poem. You can also share the episode with a friend, and we hope you do. Until next time, we wish you beauty, inspiration, and very meaningful days. May you always have the poems you need.